Good morning, everyone. Just let a few more people get into chat here. Morning, Chris. Morning, Jeff. Morning, Array. Yeah, some of you in Discord will know I'm really not feeling too great today. I've woken up with a banging headache and I'm a bit clammy and sweaty. Not very nice, so feels like I might have caught something. But anyway, we'll be here. My ears are all bunged up. If we can get a good trade, we'll get it. If not, I might keep the stream a little bit shorter today, folks. So I might need a bit of rest. But let's see how we get on. Anyway, starting off in the chart, shall we? As we always do. Daily. Right, we're printing an inside bar right now. Yesterday was a huge sell-off. Towards the end of the day, we had a long setup back towards the upside, and then we've gapped up. We've gapped up because the Tesla earnings were absolutely monstrous. So that pushed us into Asia, and Asia and London just continued that move higher. Okay, we can see it right here on the 5-minute chart. All right, so yesterday we put in this pivot low, inverse head and shoulders. Those of you in the room would have seen it. We talked about this, and a run back up into all these stop levels where everyone got short. We've run up overnight, and potentially we're going to come and clear up some of these levels to the downside. Now, I am sort of bullish on the day, higher time frame. Not right now, because the setup isn't there right now. But if and when the setup presents, I'm wondering if we can have some sort of reaction, some sort of retracement into an area of interest, maybe where we found buyers before. Maybe this anchored view up down here on the H1 off the low. There's also another anchor into 80, which will be into our previous day close. So there's lots of areas I'm currently looking at that maybe, just maybe, the market might want to come into. So there might be a short opportunity down into those, but I think the best short opportunity probably happened before the market open right here. Once we put this double top in at the news high, rolled over, 20-day move, back test, view up, 20-day move. All right, so we're trapping between the 20-day and the 5-day. All right, everything we talk about, higher time frame liquidity building, happens between here. Once we get these in line, then we get potential trends. All right, so let's go through. Morning, Chris, Array, Jeff, Brian, Ramus, John, Ryan, Marek, Eva, Mindful Matters, Tomek. Good morning, everyone. So just letting the charts do the work right now. We've got news in 15 seconds. All right, so we're just going to see what we get. I do think that this print at the high is sitting there to get run over at 4:30. All right, we never took that news print high. In fact, we left a double top up there, so it looks a bit suspect to me. Doesn't mean I'm bullish right now, but it means I think there's a potential to get back up there. And through that, on a higher time frame, we're going to be eating through the old range, right? We're trading back inside the old daily moves. All right, remember this was a 12-day range. We're trading back in the underside of that. You can see right now we tested the trend line where we broke down from. We're back testing that. If we get back through that, we have upside potential, targeting all the way up to 600 if we can do it. All right, so what I wanted to see today was a dip underneath this, a return in, and then a grind back up to get some upside action. It's not going to be an easy day because the range overnight was massive, and that always makes it a little bit harder the following morning. So as we've had experience of very frequently recently, it might need to build out some liquidity first. Morning, Stefan. Let's have a look at that newsprint came in at. So home sales unchanged. All right, they're exactly the same as the previous month. All right, 200 home sales more, but as a nation, that's not much. In terms of the median price, that is. Let's keep going. Month over month came at 4.1% as opposed to 0.6. It's very bullish. So maybe we're going to get the start of that upside move. I would have rather a gap fill first, really. It would have been my preference for this. I would much rather we gap fill first. Gap fill is down here into these levels. All right, remember, we have a gap down there and a gap above us. Where's that gap above that I marked out? On the Qs above us, that gap would be at 583. on the actual ETF. So we have two cash gaps we're sitting in between right now. Is the market going to get going here now? It feels like it, doesn't it? I'm just watching this M5, M15. See if we're going to return into range and target those highs from that Newsweek high that we did for PPI, or are we just going to steal this liquidity and turn lower? I'll move this to a 1 minute view now. So I want to see how we build out here. Like I said to my team today, you can size down today. All right, there's a huge room for moves today. You do not want to get trapped. It's breaking out very nicely now from this move. Ideally, we get some form of pullback and then run up, target one, and then hold runners into 600s. Wow, it's just going. So ES into VWAP, Qs through VWAP. Relative strength in the Qs because of tech, all right? Like we talked about, Tesla was up at a high of almost 18% today. It had a seller at 250. It took that seller out, popped through, and then is back in the underside of that now, trading at 248.58 right now. Would have really liked to have come into an anchored VWAP or a gap close first before any of this. This new hourly bar testing the open of the previous hourly bar here as well. So if we flip those flow zones, I'll consider that long move back up that we talked about. Those in Discord, this is the move that we were looking for. Oh my God, man. The sinus pressure is something else. Let's see if they hold this or if they do the gap fill. Big rejection on ES there at VWAP. Morning, Glenn. Morning, Alonso, Minux, Tyson. Good morning, everyone. So gap fill is looming down here, all right? This would be for the cash gap. 2275 would be for the 5 o'clock close. Can put that in actually. Let's just move this up to around here. All right, that'd be the 5 p.m. close. This would be the cash gap close. So this is the ETF down here. We talked about it in the room. Momentum and location is key today. Well, we had good momentum overnight upside, but location was terrible to be buying up there. So I'm looking for like a 2-leg pullback, something decent size, ideally to close the gap and to trap late shorts in who are looking to force the market lower. And then I'm thinking about, can we get a shift back to the upside once enough short time frame shorts are trapped in? Lower the better, really, honestly, looking at this move up on the higher time frames. This anchored VWAP, this imbalance that we have here, this old value area low, anywhere in and around here where I think we're good value, and I'm going to wait for a pattern. All right, it's going to need to be something like this or something like this to pivot back up. And then if we get above here, I'm going to look for a rotation up here. Might not happen today. This might be a tomorrow play if this move happens today. You can think about that into the close of the week. If we're just going to stay heavy today, Qs as a chart definitely don't look as bullish as the ES on the higher time frame. So if we keep rejecting this level here where we first broke down from, if this is a back test, we can expect the market to come down here, which is where I'm looking for longs. If we start failing that, again, we're going to start thinking about expansion lower. Anyone in the Discord yesterday should have had a very good day. All right, we had really nice moves to the downside yesterday, and all you then had to do, follow the flow zones and then take the buy signals for that retracement back up. Nice and simple. Very similar today. I don't want to be jumping in front of this. We're in a pullback sell right now. We have shifted structure here, all right, because lower time frame, this high made this low. We closed above it. The question is, does it return back in or is it a trap? I just know that this area here is a gap that's looming, and that makes me uncomfortable. In a perfect scenario, we fill that, maybe go even deeper, trapping loads of shorts, and then put in a bullish pattern for an upside move. And hopefully it does it soon, because I would love to go back to bed. Chart, sorry, array, sorry, my friend. Biggest order on the book today, 450. All right, 450, 100 lot up there. Just going to be patient here. Only need one good trade, just like we had yesterday. One good trade's all you need. So far, that lower time frame algorithm holding us down on that pop back up. Selling back down underneath flow zones, it will want to retest this area here now to see if buyers are there. If they're not there, it's going to do gap fill 1, gap fill 2. So far, momentum is to the downside on the lower time frame right now. Most of the Mag 7 green on the day now, other than Google and Apple. Treasuries having a pullback day, which is probably needed after that breakout on the Treasuries, putting inflationary pressure on the market. We've seen gold yesterday on an absolute tear. Bernie, no, I'm just not well, mate. I'm not under stress. I just woke up. I think I've got like a bit of a fever. I'm a bit clammy and sweaty. My head's absolutely pounding. So yeah, it's nothing to do with stress or work. I think I picked up a bug overnight or something. Can't regulate temperature that well. I've got like a hoodie over my legs right now. But I've taken some drugs about 30 minutes ago, so hopefully they're kicking soon. Yeah, my sinus pressure, like around my ears and heads, banging, absolutely banging. Yeah, nothing, no big deal, Bernie. I'll be fine. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, if everyone can hit the like button, share it on your socials, share it with friends. Do me a favor. That would be much appreciated. Here every day for free, helping you guys and girls out. All right, VIX just still trading in that gap that we talked about in the Discord. Those there, we're just in that gap right now. So it closed the gap to the upside. It still has a downside close left. If it downsides close, obviously the market is going to trade upside. I'm going to have to turn that Nightbot off, aren't I? Way OTT. I'd really like a manipulation down here and then a rip back up. It might not give it. So flow zones starting to go sideways. If they're there long enough, they will start to curl and flip. Just be patient with them. Yeah, you won't get any BS here, mate. I'll tell you what I'm looking at when I'm looking at it. Yesterday we got over 100-point trade on stream, a continuation of that sell in my Discord, and then we got the long signal end of day. So I'll always tell you what I'm looking at and why. Yeah, 135 at 350 and then disappeared. You mean on the book? I don't even see him on Bookmap having disappeared, unless he got filled. I see 124 just got filled, so maybe that was him. There's a seller up at 450, 100 lot, and there's not many bids down below really, to be honest. So just trading back into that range that we made overnight here. We're inside London range right now, right at the midpoint of London, where we broke down from at the open. That's where we're currently trading. Make sure you keep zooming out, understand where you are on the charts. It is possible that we do like a small inverted head and shoulders here, all right? I would, like I keep saying, I'd much rather it does some form of manipulation down, fills this. Oh, let's not do that. Fills this and then turns. Just in terms of structure, that would be far, far nicer to know it's been efficient down here. We'd probably trap in shorts here and then do this move. I'd way prefer that, but the market might not give it. What I'm not going to want to do today is buy high, all right? Not looking to buy high. Remember, we've gapped up significantly. Really, you're just creating a range here. Another 15 minutes left until that initial balance is set. Again, trading between 20-day, low time frame algo, high time frame algo, 5-day. This typically is an area where the market needs to build liquidity. Like we talked about yesterday on stream, those that were here, if we're gonna really sell, you would need that 5-day to start holding price down, crossing the 20-day, and then we'd do a reversion trade back to the lower Bollinger. If we start reclaiming this 5-day and the 5-day move upward, the Bollinger will start to expand upwards and we can start to move up with it. Let's put you on the right chart. You can tell I'm not feeling good today because I'm missing all of this, aren't I? So here, blue line 5-day, 20 days purple line, 2 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation on the Bollingers, right? Standard Bollingers. If we keep rejecting this, it will close under the 20-day. That's when you get the bigger sell-off moves like here. All right, once we get that cross, we sell down to the lower Bollinger. It's a very typical move. If we are going to trap here, we're going to hold the 20-day and the 20-day move up, 5-day will move up, Bollingers will move up, and we'll get some expansion here, allowing upside pressure. Yesterday, really, for me, looking at this was really a stop run. All right, you had every buyer basically here. Their stops were here. Yesterday, we took them out of the market and we've closed back inside. We're right back in that 12-day balanced range here, 2-week balanced range. If we can get above this, we're going to run all the shorts out now as well. So potentially, this could be a spring, Wyckoff theory, potentially, on a higher time frame. Yeah, a little bit lackluster this morning, isn't it? Not a whole lot going on. 83 points of range. I was bullish on the morning. I wanted a deeper pullback though. NQ through its VWAP. ES nowhere near it. Lagging behind by about 6-7 points right now. ES trading downside here towards low of day on the ES for the New York session. Okay. VIX looking to break out of that 1920 will offer that upside move. It still has that gap beneath it. It's pretty much filled its gap to the upside. Most of Mag 7's green. All right, most of the Mag 7 is green. Only ones lagging are Google and Apple. Apple's had weakness the last few days because it's going to miss, apparently, on its Apple 16 iPhone sales. And then yesterday there was more news of less production than that, and even more news that they're going to stop producing the current version of the VR headset. Right, so they're in a sell cycle right now. Dips will be bought on Apple, I'm sure, but they're currently in a sell cycle. They hold the most weight in the market, closely followed by Nvidia, which is up about 0.5% today. Once we get alignment, it would be nice and clear and easy here. I said, these feel like, for me, low-hanging fruits right now, just because this is the gap. I'd find it fairly unusual, although very possible, that we don't close one of those gaps today. Remember, there is a gap above us. What day are we at now? Thursday. There is Tuesday, Wednesday gap above us still. So ideally, in a really nice world, we'd close this one, and then we'd reprice and close the gap to the upside. That would be a very efficient market if we could do that. Bernie, it happens. If it goes without you, it goes without you. Just don't chase it. So VIX banging on the door then towards that 1920. That would be a new higher day. Allow it for upside. Increased downside pressure on the market, especially on ES, potentially opening the gate for that gap that we've been talking about, which is why I'm not bullish yet. Even though we had a buy signal there, there's nothing yet for me to think about a bullish move in. I would really like a manipulation down. It might not do it. And if it doesn't do it, that's fine. I'll join the trend as and when it's ready. Think about this as that trend line liquidity. If it starts taking these out, if you're in short in this, I don't know anyone that is, but if you're in short in this, you need to respect all these levels, especially here, because currently we've broken structure upside. So in a small cycle, we are in a bullish structure right now. It's just not in a location that I currently like. But if this was enough of a manipulation, traded back inside, we could expect something like this. Ideally, I would love this trend line to just get slammed on. I'm not looking short on it. You can take that short if it's something that you're looking for, if that's the play you're looking for. I'm going to stick with my thesis today. I want to be buying cheap today if possible. I'm waiting for shorts to get stuck in the market. It's the only real trade I'm interested in today. I don't have the mental capacity to think about much more than that right now, I'll be honest. My head is absolutely pounding. So I'm going to keep it simple. Either my trade comes in today or it doesn't, and that's fine. Mindful matters. Mike, what do you mean? My mic's on. Can you not hear me? Shows is on OBS. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. VIX just banging on that door then towards the high of day. ES looks like it wants to do a bear flag. Maybe NQ will follow, but again, I keep saying tech is stronger right now, just in this session. Microsoft, green to red on the day. So far, very similar to what we had earlier in the week, all right? We're just trading inside. So daily bar is inside the previous day's bar. It's really almost inside the previous 12 days range. Hourly bar is inside most of the overnight. We're inside London, we're inside the top of Asia, we're inside the initial balance. All right, we're just trading mid-range of the New York Open session. So for me, a lack of edge here, which is why I'm just not entering anything right now. Maybe we get that breakdown for that gap fill, right? That would be really nice. Here goes the VIX then, 1920 now. This is new high of day on the VIX. Can it just break and push here? We'll need ES to start rolling over if it's going to do it. Thank you. Right, it is VWAP now. Trying to trade through VWAP. ES looks like it's starting to get some legs here. Still no breakout on the ES though. Structure on a 5-minute, 10-minute, still a bear flag currently. We're very, very balanced. Like if you look at the trend lines on like an M15 from the Asia low, London low, up to current price, we're just sitting on it. Very tight here. ES banging on VWAP now. Again, I'd much rather they manipulate lower first, but they might not need to. Much, much rather we go down before we go up. We're getting stuck on the underside of Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday from previous week. If you look at the daily, zoom out, use your higher time frame, see where we're at, look at those resistance points. Look where buyers would have stopped out yesterday. Anyone that didn't stop out, look at where they might stop out today. Right, we need to get shorts stuck, in my opinion, to rotate higher. I don't think there's many shorts stuck in this right now, not in the current session. So it's just basic psychology. We need one side stuck to get a move the other way. When we're chopping like this is just inducing. Think how many people are in this right now. You've probably got shorts in it here, then longs in it here, then shorts in it here, then maybe some more longs, then maybe some more shorts, and maybe some more longs. Lots of people, both sides in this. It's messy. 2 minutes still in a sell. So 2 minute and up is still in a sell. 1 minute was the only one that tried to flip. All right, 2 minute and up, sell signal. Everything since then, deep pullback sell signal. VIX banging on the door again then. Do we get that bear flag play out on the ES? Looks like it's already playing out on the Qs here. If it snaps beneath this 20-day, we're looking at that rotation for the gap fill, all right? So this is the 5 o'clock close, this is the 4 o'clock close. This is the cash gap, this space here. Okay, this is the ETF gap. But that Asia low is currently sitting at 266. I have my first anchored view up on a 5 minute sitting at 290, and then I have an hourly anchored view up sitting at around 275. All right, I'm going to be right back. Sorry, it might be pretty ill here. Okay, sorry about that, team. So initial balance now set, right? You'll see this IB low, IB high now printed. Let's zoom this in a little bit. We're just doing the dance, building liquidity, very much like we've had most the weeks, most days where we've been in sidebars, all right? Just building liquidity. We can think about now auctions, failed auctions, underside and overside of this, all right? Failed auction up here, failed auction down here, trend continuation, trend continuation. I prefer the trend continuation upside and a failed auction downside. That's what I feel pretty good about. But I'll be flexible to the chart. Did any of you get that long overnight? Or any of you trading accounts where you could have held? We called the long in the Discord. It became very obvious to us when it became the long. But if anyone held this, right, there was the buy signal right here. Inverse head and shoulders, and then we traded all the way up to this 5-day huge move overnight. Did anyone get that on stream? Mindful Matters, you got it, amazing. Or is that an old message? Nice. Okay, back to VWAP then. Still just building liquidity, all right? We're still just building liquidity. This is a range currently on the New York session. You can have to trade the edges and respect the range until it proves otherwise. It is odd that we have not broken down and filled a gap there. I will say that. It was so easy to get to. Sellers not able to come in. Treasuries are bleeding today, all right, which will help the market look for upside. Back to VWAP, yes. Feels like it's trying to build liquidity for this break here now. If it holds this and gets above here, maybe that's the slingshot upside now. Again, I would have preferred it traded lower, but I'm going to have to trade what it offers. It is producing lower highs, but the moment that that trades through, I feel like this is where their stops are. ES getting through VWAP will be key for that move. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to trap. I mean, maybe it's got enough liquidity on that move this morning. I don't know. It's still early. I mean, it hasn't broken out and retested above, and it hasn't gap filled. So it has time. We're still just trading inside the initial balance. ES still can't get a close over its VWAP. Yes, right on the door now. Might get a stop run here. If they let ES go and trade upside, you might get that stop run straight up to initial balance high if it goes. Remember, this is where sellers came in this morning on this first move up into that IB high lower time frame algo. ES now through. All right, ES trading at 55 now, comfortably through its VWAP. You want to see if the pullback holds here, and you don't want it to go deep. If this pullback goes deep, the long trade is off, because it's just a momentum trade. This, I would much rather shorts are trapped in, like I keep saying over and over again. ES back to VWAP now. Do they soak it? Still not in a position here, by the way, so just watching, looking for the position. Would need this pullback to hold, need flow zones to start supporting, need to get really hold this and start basing above here, and then above IB high, and then trade upside. Otherwise, more chop expected. We are inside initial balance. Oh, my head, man. Can we get squeeze in here? Here we go, come on. Refresh seller on the tape there, I can see them on bookmap. They're stacking. It's not huge size, expect them to get taken out. Looking for longs. Lovely, here we go. Taking that off now. So small move there. If I locked in that, barely anything. $600. Needs to see this hold, right? Like we talked about, because this is a momentum play. It's not the play I wanted. The play I wanted is from down here. So location, I need to see this hold and build above. Above here would be even better. This would be an auction high confirmation. But VIX is looking good, trading back downside off that 1920 failure. Right on this lower time frame algo into IB high. I have to be very careful they don't come and slam this IB high, but my bias today is upside. It is potential on a higher time frame, something like a M5, that this is just a W and we can do this, right? I say higher time frame, it's barely higher, is it? But high enough to see the play. I want it to see it hold above this initial balance high, okay? It needs to really get above, let's call it 40, and I want to see it base on VWAP. I don't want to see it letting go of 50. If it lets go of 50, it's going to come all the way down here, and we're just going to be in a range rotation day, all right? We're just going to continue to chop between this. Needs to be holding this level here. Here is the trend, needs to back test, hold it, trade upside. So 350 key for me. And then above IBH, if it can trade above IBH and base above IBH, we can look for that move into high of day. Remember, it had a Newswick, we had a PPI Newswick, which has been left up there at 428. So normally we like to hunt those wicks because we've taken the underside of that PPI wick out. You would expect us to go and take the top side of it out. All of the shorts, they've got their stops dangling up here. I'll try and stay on stream as long as I can, guys, for this morning session. I'll try and stick with you, but bear with me. If I get things wrong, if I say things wrong, I'm just not really feeling at the races today. Okay, the flow zone's starting to go sideways, but they're trying to curl upside. If we start supporting action upside, it'd be really nice. If we start getting the momentum cloud through the deep pullback cloud above the IB high supporting this move, we can look for a really nice trend trade upside. The only thing that's worrying, right, is that Tesla did such a huge move. It hasn't left itself much room to drag the market up. I'll shut it down in a bit, Alonso. Stay with you guys for a bit longer. Okay, yes, under VWAP, not what you want to see. Do they just soak this? Yes, right at its VWAP again. Very, very tight here. Feel like there's a stop run coming, but they're just not letting it through. Again, have to respect that initial balance. So twice now back tested that lower time frame algo and can't get a base above it. Lower time frame is below the higher time frame. This is a bearish signal, but I was looking for us to break above and the lower time frame to come and do that crossover for us. Maybe now it goes for that flag, I don't know. Keeps getting stuck at that lower time frame, doesn't it? No follow through momentum here. If they don't get through soon, they're going to be in trouble because shorts will start to build and build and build positions. So you want to see this flag play out now for that upside move. I would be very hesitant if they don't let this go. You want to see this play out here. If they don't let it go, be very cautious about a deep, deep move back down into these levels, because the more buyers get stuck up and around here, the more liquidity is being built up there. And if they don't get their move, the more likely they are to get stop run. ES is the same thing. ES can't get through its VWAP, right? It's exactly the same kind of move we're talking about. If it can't get through its VWAP, if they keep trying to soak here and they don't get that move upside, it's opening itself up to a flush to the downside. If buyers don't, just think about it really simply. If buyers can't get their move upside, they're going to get stopped out, right? And it's the same the other way. Remember, this is a big move up from here. This is open space, really. They are trying to base up here for that move. It's just not happening yet. There you go. Buyers can get the move, so we do a deeper pullback down. So what I was talking about, you cannot stay up there. If you don't get that move, this is what happens. They come and liquidate them all. They might now trade it back up. This might be what they needed to trade it up. Yeah, exactly, Sandy. Long's got trapped because it couldn't do that breakout. Right, when it lacked liquidity, basically. Here's your trend, here's the move, here's the flag, failed to do it, so their stops here, they get liquidated. Now, if shorts got trapped in here, then it might have enough liquidity to go back upside. Otherwise, you'd want to see shorts come back in, attack this for downside continuation. So here's your pivot points, right? So how it reacts in this area now becomes key on a lower time frame. We're talking about scalping lower time frame moves here. That liquidation move down was very, very obvious once it couldn't get that continuation higher. But that might be all it needed to trap shorts in now. And if it starts turning upside now, those shorts are going to get used, their stops are going to get used. Thanks, Coop. Yeah, it's definitely a coin toss, isn't it, right now? Trading inside of London, trading inside of initial balance, trading inside of the previous day, trading between the 20-day and the 5-day. Just chop city. The morning sessions recently, other than yesterday, and even yesterday, the first 20 minutes or so was very much choppy, have been like this. It just seems like London has been the best session for a while now. It really has been the best session for a while now. They're just getting really nice trend continuation on London. A look at London, all you had to do was buy that pullback into VWAP, and then you could have added on the breakout over Asia. Really easy, right? So you could have bought into 322, added at 344, sold some at 405, and sold some more than this morning on that spike push up, give you 110 points without any headache at all. Why don't we move to London then? Yeah, I mean, I used to. I still got a house there, but it's not somewhere I want to live. But I would live in Portugal and Spain. That's very much on my radar right now. Okay, VIX new higher day. ES not the lower day yet. Still trading inside its initial balance. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Those gaps are still looming, right? These gaps are still looming. So really, you're looking. This is your New York session. We're trading in between this right now. Move to a 2-minute because it's choppy. Let's just clean it up a little bit. When it's really choppy, move higher up the time frames. Yeah, Portugal's awesome, man. I've genuinely been looking at houses there just outside of Lisbon. Yeah, I think, Aaron, the thing is, when we've lived in the UK for a long period of our lives, we sort of take it for granted. Like I do miss it being in America. I miss the architecture, especially. And the prices. Even though London's expensive, it's nothing compared to LA. I've never been to Mauritius. No, I would love to go to Mauritius. Yeah, I really like Portugal. Been checking out Portugal a lot. Not too far away from that anchored VWAP now. It's starting to trade upside now. It's sitting at 280. Right, this orange line here, this is anchored off the lows. Right here. Yeah, that's my anchored VWAP off the low. ES looking heavy here, potential bear flag breakdown on the ES here. It might go and wash low of day. So maybe we're shifting to a sell for that gap fill now. If they hold it, then we're just going to trade back inside the initial balance, right back to the upside again. Remember what we said, this is where we found buyers. I said if it fails up here, we come back down to the point where we found buyers. This is where we found buyers this morning, this big engulfing candle. ES testing near that lower day now. Right into its lower day here. See if we wash into that gap, is what I'm watching. We can break down underneath the 20-day and the IB low into the gap. VIX now breaking out. So VIX well above that 1920 move, right up to 1940. ES washed its low of day. NQ hasn't done it yet. So possible SMT here, possible divergence. Still plenty of time for the Qs to roll over though. This is the channel, remember. This is the first target. If you're in this short, this is your first target, second target, third target, runners. So ES wicked its low of day, took the stops, now traded back upside. So it's definitely in a liquidity building phase, and we know that already because we are trading inside initial balance. When we're trading inside initial balance, we know the market is building liquidity. We trade edges, longs from here, shorts from here, right? And look at that reaction. So you have to ask yourself on the NQ, do they slam VWAP here or do they let it through? And do we finally trap enough shorts at that lows? Again, we haven't filled that gap on either market. There are low hanging fruits hanging both sides here. Right, look at an M15 chart right now. I'm going to put this on. All these bars. No clear trend developing here. Yes, we broke down from here, but there's no clear trend from the New York session I'm talking about. We have targets down here. I love this liquidity down here if we can come and sweep. We have swept one level. I'd love to come and take this out. Really, really better move. I want to buy cheap, basically, is what I'm saying. I want to buy a bullish structure in a bullish zone, cheap. I tried to buy high today for that momentum, very small size, for a very small win. All those new on stream, I'm really sorry. I'm not normally this lackluster, but I'm just really not feeling very good today. Go back and watch the other streams. I'm normally giving you much more information, probably with a bit more energy. So I do apologize, but I thought I had to turn up. I told you I'd turn up, so I need to be here for you. Ramus. I don't speak any. I can say obrigado, and that's about it. I don't know anything else. I think it's probably got to be one of the hardest languages to learn. Of all the Latin-based languages, Italian, French, Spanish, much easier to learn. Sounds Russian when you hear Portuguese. So here's the break. VIX now totally filled its gap. The upside gap still left the downside gap, totally filled its gap. That's great, Tim. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, liquidity lessons really helped Tim, who's saying as a third-year trader. Liquidity is what the market's all about. It is literally what the market's all about. Nothing else really matters. All we're doing when we're looking at charts is looking at psychology. All right, we're looking at the psychology. Each candle represents where buyers and sellers participate, and then once you understand where the liquidity pools are, where stronger hands are, where weaker hands are, where stops are, you can start to build out trade thesis. But yeah, tight day. I mean, we're still inside range. It's only been 83 points today. I don't know what we had yesterday. It must have been like 500-point move or something. Often expected tighter day after a big day the day before, right? Consolidate. You do a huge expansion and then you consolidate. What's weird is where we're consolidating. If you look at that daily candle, we've opened up way higher off that gap up. What would have been nice is if we didn't have Tesla earnings yesterday and we are able to take that long for that move back into a 50% or 61 fib and then flip short. That would have been really, really nice. But the market does not want to give us easy moves right now if you're in New York. Imagine if you were a London trader the last few days. They got short yesterday and got to close it out, you know, when they woke up, and then they got long for the move up this morning for the counter move and got to close out in New York. Okay, coming closer into that anchored view up as it's starting to trail up with it. So one level is 96, the other level is 82. We have an order block there, and we have all those key daily levels I talked about for the cash gap fill. Getting close. That gap fill seems likely to me. Seems likely. It's closed most of it though. I'm also watching the 20-day on the SPY, which is right where that gap fill is. It's right where that inverted head and shoulder is, where it based in the after hours yesterday before gapping up. So I am watching that in the SPY. It's an interesting level. So on the SPY, that level sort of starts around 490 down to 488.80. That's what I'm watching in the ETF. All right, new hourly candle here. Ideally, this is the candle that manipulates. This is the candle that expands lower and rips higher. I'd like to see a candle that goes lower, leaves a long wick, expands higher. One can wish. If it doesn't do it soon, team, I'm going to be honest with you, I'll probably close the screens because I don't think looking at screens helping my headache much. And I have a rule not to trade when I feel like this as well. So trading's open every single day. The last thing you want to do is trade when you're not feeling 100%. So I've already decided that I'm only going to trade one account. So I've already gone down to just one account if I do take a trade, just to limit risk. Nothing worse than making a bad decision when you don't feel well and then having to have that times by 14. Just see some Kansas City Fed news came out. So just be patient. Please don't force yourself on this market right now. We are trading in range. Do not be forcing yourself on the market. Compare this action to yesterday. All right, you don't need to trade every day. Compare this action to yesterday. Those on stream with me yesterday will know the setup we got. I mean, it looks rubbish now, doesn't it? Because we should have held. But the setup we got was right here. We took this breakdown short. You could have taken this one if you wanted to add, and we covered into here. We probably should have added back into this 2-try, but we took this for 100 points. This is nice, clean action, right? Very clear. Broke underneath, short back inside, wash with clear levels. And you look at, let's just clean this up before I forget, otherwise it's going to show on my screen. You compare that to what we're currently dealing with. What would you rather trade? If you're a range trader, maybe you love this. Buy the IB lows, sell the IB highs. But really, there's not much meat in here. It's not a big range. It's 83.5 points max if you got it absolutely perfect. That's all you've got. Armin van Buren, yeah, I was actually signed to his label for a while. Armada, nice guy. Good dude. Yeah, exactly. Alonso, the spread on the ES. 16 points. Not a lot to play with, is it? Not a lot to play with, that initial balance. Yeah, wisdom lover, that's it. The market matches buyers and sellers. That's literally what it does. So that's why it searches for liquidity. When you have an imbalance, a day like yesterday, for example, when we have that huge sell and we're just in a sell all day, it's not matching buyers and sellers, right? That's a big liquidation event. That's what you get when you have 12 days of buyers stuck in a range who suddenly get forced to stop out, and it keeps going down. And they're like, sell, 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 sell. Let's just market, sell, market, sell, market, sell. No one with big hands is interested in buying that the other side until everyone's finished selling, right? Retail is trying to catch bonds, trying to catch, stop out, forces more down. Trying to catch, stop out, forces more down, right? So you get big hands selling and retail hands trying to buy, forced to sell by stopping out, and you get the big flushes. Alonso says, I thought we'd have a chance at a strong auction either direction with that tight spread at some point. Yeah, me too. It might still come. Look, the day is young. The day is young. We've only been open an hour and a half. Might seem like we've been open a long time. We've only been open an hour and a half. Can still come. There's plenty of time. I won't be here for it, but there's plenty of time. Look, there is plenty of time to do a move where we break under the... Sorry, guys. Break under the IB, close the gap, manipulate, trade back inside, hold this, and then use all these guys for liquidity higher, and then maybe trade above the IB and expand. Loads of time to do that. There's loads of time if it doesn't want to do that today and it just wants to trade underneath the IB. Maybe the only move it wants to do today is to reprice lower. Maybe it's just going to do this, retest, do some junk here, and then come back down here and finish the day down here. That's also possible. The flow zones are saying downward pressure for now. We are in multi-trend bearish. Look at the top right. No bullish signal yet. Multi-trend bearish. Into the 20-day and the IB low. Remember, these are the low-hanging fruits. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but if the market's going to be efficient, these are the low-hanging fruits. This is your 5 o'clock close on the futures. This is your 4 o'clock close on the ETF. SPY came very close to closing that fully then. Just going to check. I'm going to zoom right in case it did. So the last close is not far away. Maybe can do another half a point down, and that would be the gap close on the SPY. So be prepared for something like an SMT if one of them closes and the other one doesn't. That's also probable. Yeah, Alonso, yeah. When action's slow, it feels like you've been at the desk ages, isn't it? Like, you're like, what am I doing here? This is terrible. When you feel like that, if you ever get tempted to force, just set price alerts. If you've got TradingView, set a price alert, have it text or email you when price comes into a certain level. All right, you can always set that above or below a level that you're looking at, so that you can get back to your desk and watch when it's there. Looking at all this, the temptation is to like, and this is what the market wants. It wants you to try and buy this and sell this and buy this and sell this and buy this and sell this. It wants your liquidity. It wants you to participate and get stuck. That is exactly what it wants. On the 1 hour, a big head and shoulders. All right, so the only thing, you're not wrong, okay, but the only thing, Futures Frank, is this down here. Am I on the 1 hour? Just want to make sure. Yeah. See this? This was higher time frame demand. This is higher time frame trend. Underneath this was a failed auction, and this is where buyers stepped in. This is average price, this orange line of the buyers. So if you're talking about this shoulder and this head and this, it's possible, but what I'm looking for is a failure of that, because I think we can reprice this and catch them. It doesn't mean it can't break down a little bit, but I don't think there's much room on that neckline. And if you're going to consider that a neckline, right, we'd look for a measured move normally. So if we take this from head to neck, and then we go from neck down, you'd be looking for a full reprice into 168. I'm not convinced we get down that far. I'm happy to be wrong, by the way. That's absolutely fine. You're not wrong in what you're looking at, but I'm thinking that this is strong momentum. This is, for me, this is what I'm looking at. This is all the buys from here from 12 days, okay? We snapped down and we came into this blue level. This blue level's been here the whole time, all right? Because this is where we found buyers, all right? This is where we found buyers, these two levels, and this is higher time frame trend line from the H1. So we back tested it. We snapped down. Every buyer in this 12-day range got forced to sell. Liquidation event. Sell, 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 sell. Shorts didn't actually take control, because if shorts were going to take control, they need to hold us down here. But all that happened is we auctioned back up. So shorts got trapped at the lows. Here's your value area low. We traded back inside, and we've now back tested where we broke down from, and we're back inside that range. So yes, on an H1 we can break down, but where are you targeting? Okay, maybe you can target a move into here, but how are you risking that? These are the questions I'd be asking if I was you. How are you risking that? What are you risking against? For me, the probable move here is an auction back higher. I feel like shorts yesterday got greedy. When that was a liquidation event of genuine selling, for me that was genuine selling of higher time frame buyers stuck up here. Say average price here, they get forced to sell and stop out, and then they catch it here in demand and they run it back up. So if you are short here, 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 you've woken up absolutely fucked, right? So if we back test these guys anywhere around here, they're going to stop out break even. We can trade upside. That at least is what I'm thinking in my head, so you can make sense what I'm thinking. That doesn't mean what you're looking at is wrong, because I can see what you're looking at pattern wise. I can see that. I totally understand what you're looking at, but unless you get a clear breakdown, a retest and stay heavy, then maybe you can look for a short, but I'd be very cautious and make sure you are taking profits into these levels, because I would expect the big hand buyers who bought this to step right back in here. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why this morning has been a struggle. That's why we're in chop, because no big hand buyer really wants to participate up here, and there's no genuine short selling. If there was short selling, we would be flushing down so hard, because if you think, if we're back testing that level we broke down from, we should be absolutely melting down, and we're not, because yesterday was liquidation. That was genuine buyers selling because they got stopped out, more than shorts coming in the market because there was some big news to move the needle to think we need to sell everything, right? Because when we have that, we'd have a 2-day sell-off, right? If you think about, trying to think of an event, let's say FOMC comes in and Powell's like, do you know what? I made an error and we're not cutting. In fact, we're going to do a 1/4 base point rise. then you're going to get shorts coming into the market, right? You're going to get big time shorts and you're going to get multi-day sell-off. Maybe day one down, little retrace 30%, day two down, and then we think about it. All we've had right now is a flush down and a return straight back in. Tyson, SMT. Yeah, I didn't look. Yes, you're right. There is SMT. ES broke the lows. Didn't quite gap fill. Came very, very close. And traded inside. You're right. You love an SMT. You've been trading that the last few days. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's an SMT there. Relative strength on the NQs. NQs now at VWAP. ES near its IB low. So yeah, there is an SMT there for now. I'm going to get rid of this channel because we've broken it, so it's not really very helpful. These are days that I tend not to trade too much anyway. For those of you who have been on the stream with me for the last month since I started, those of you who've traded in the room with me for the last year will know I love trading trend events and failed breakdowns, failed breakouts. That's what I'm always looking for. Smart money technique, Matt, it's basically just a divergence. So it's when one market sweeps a level and another market doesn't. So if you look at the ES right now, the ES has had a failed auction to the downside, Alonso, yeah, exactly. It swept its low and traded back inside. The NQ never swept this low. So it's called smart money technique or just divergence in the market. So is that the event that the market needed? Big move on NQ there, isn't it? Big move already, 50 points off that wick low. I would keep your eye on ES as it trades back upside, all right, into this imbalance on a 5 minute on the ES. You'd want to see it flip that imbalance. All right, basically invert that imbalance and just trade straight through VWAP, straight to the upside. Like I said, my sentiment on the day was bullish. I would have liked a gap close, but the SPY came so close to a gap close there. VIX also filled its gap, trading back to its IB high right now. Nice, Brian. Have a great weekend. See you Monday, mate. Well done. Well done making some money. Yeah, on a ripper now. The Qs are on an absolute ripper here. If the VIX trades back inside its initial balance and ES flips this 5 minute gap and trades back above its VWAP, I think we target those PPI highs we talked about. Yes, Tyson, lovely work. Lovely work. So I do think the market has a chance to get to 430. And then above that, honestly, if it really wants to go, we can trade back into, I just want to make sure I get this right, back into yesterday's high of day, yesterday's open up towards 540s, and through that, targeting the 600s. Would be a big move on the day for it to do that. So it might be a tomorrow move. ES now inside its initial balance. Sorry, shows how sick I am. VIX inside its initial balance, right? ES right at that 5 minute imbalance on the 5 minute fair value gap, right? It needs to trade through that, flip it, get through VWAP, then it opens the door for upside. Remember, they haven't filled the gap yet. Neither of them filled the gap. I'm probably going to go soon, guys, because I don't know if it's the caffeine or the ibuprofen, but I am sweating buckets right now. You can probably see it on stream on my head. So hopefully I'll feel better and be here for tomorrow. I'll do my best. If not, I would imagine I'll be fine by Monday. So that 20-day SMA on the Qs came in very, very important. That purple line at the bottom of your screen. Not the straight one, that's the IB. The squiggly one, that's the 20-day SMA. That's your mean reversion. So if we hold that, it might chop and trade back towards the blue line. That's the 5-day. So yes, now fill that imbalance. Can it flip it? You got another almost 2 minutes until a new 5-minute candle. NQ can come back down to back test like 36. Wouldn't want it to go that low, but it can go that low based on structure. It can come back down here to see where buyers came in, to see if they're still here. Can do this if it wants. Better move is just to do this and pump all day. That'd be nice. But again, just respect the initial balance. You're coming back towards the top of that range on the IB. On the NQ you are. On the ES you're not there yet. You're approaching VWAP, not too far away, a couple points, 1.5. How important is IB in fighting your trades? Do you mean, Paul? The initial balance, all it does for me is define what trading conditions we're in. Yeah, so when we're inside initial balance, I know that we're building liquidity. So technically, when we're inside initial balance, you should be fading the edges. You should be selling here and you should be buying here until it proves otherwise. And then I'm looking for either a failed auction, right, which is what we've had in ES. That would have been perfect on here. Gap fill, failed auction, come inside, which is exactly what ES did. Thank you, Tyson, for pointing that out. Or we have a trend day where we base above, grind for a bit, and then we start to make higher highs and higher lows. So you can also have trend day to the downside, which is what we had yesterday. So once we talked about on the stream, once we rejected that previous day low, I think it was, and the IB low on the Qs yesterday, we were confirmation of trend day lower, which means you don't look for longs. You just stick with trend. You stay with the shorts. So what it helps you do then is build thesis. You know then, okay, I'm not looking for longs today until something proves otherwise. The long came at the end of the day once we actually went to some major levels on H1 dailies and weeklies, and we had exhaustion. And then even then, you don't guess the bottom. You wait for it to curl, and then you take the longs, and you are counter trend long back up. If you look at that long yesterday, probably on ES, let's have a look. So that long yesterday on ES, exactly the same. All it did was come way back to VWAP. All right, traded off the lows back to VWAP. Don't think Qs managed to do that yesterday, but I'm going to check. Yeah, not into close. They hit VWAP on the open of the new session. So potentially looking good for upside here if ES can get going. 5-minute structure on ES is not upside yet. It will need to pivot. It will need to get above VWAP and IB high. Yeah, you can, Paul. It's exactly what it looks like currently is a failed auction on ES. I would have rather it did the gap fill, but it is exactly what it looks like on ES. No closure underneath on a 5 minute, but this is a strong sell here. But do they hold this imbalance? That's what you got to ask yourself. Does VWAP hold on NQ? Yeah. But so far, we're just trading inside, back testing every level. But if it's all right with you, team, I think I'm going to go back to bed. I'm really not feeling good. I'm absolutely dripping here. I will do my best to be back with you tomorrow in a healthy state. If I'm not back, I will, or if I'm not feeling good by the end of today or beginning of tomorrow, I'll put a notice on the community page on YouTube, and I'll do the same on Twitter. All right. Really sorry about that, but hopefully I'm back to normal tomorrow. As always, trade safe, respect the charts, use hard stops. Peace out.